Okay, so you snagged that meter reader interview. Congrats. But between you and me, applications can feel like a black hole. Ever feel that? How do you even stand out in that giant stack of resumes?
You're so right. It's not just about checking boxes anymore. It's about showing you and why you're the right fit for this job.
Now you're talking. That's why I'm so hyped for this deep dive. We got your back with intel straight from RoleCatcher. They have this gold mine of career resources. We're talking about a database of over 9 million employers.
It's seriously impressive, especially for something like Meter Reader, where you might be checking out different utility companies, even across state lines.
Exactly. And it's not even just about seeing what jobs are out there. It's about acing those interviews. RoleCatcher hooks you up with over 120,000 practice questions. Can you imagine being that prepared? Plus, over 3,000 career guides.
Those guides are amazing. They're like
Yeah.
having a secret peek into different career paths, like what it actually takes to be a meter reader.
Speaking of meter reader, let's make sure we're all on the same page. Picture this.
Hmm.
You're the one making sure those gas, water, you name it. Meters are all good, giving accurate readings. It's a mix of being out and about, chatting with people, and keeping things running smoothly.
And more, it's about tech too. Meter readers aren't just jotting down numbers, they're using handheld devices, even dealing with smart meters these days.
Which is probably why prepping for this interview is so important. Okay, let's dive into some common meter reader interview questions. And remember, we're not just giving you the textbook answer. We're going deep on why they ask these questions and how to make your answer really pop. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right, first up, how did you become interested in the role of a meter reader? Sounds pretty basic, but I bet it throws people off.
Oh, it does, because they're not looking for just a job title, they want to hear your story. What got you interested in this field? Was it working with their hands, being a part of essential services, maybe even being into sustainability?
So instead of just saying, I need a job, it's about finding that connection between what gets you excited and what the role needs. It's like, I've always been fascinated by infrastructure, and being a meter reader puts me right in the middle of it all.
Exactly. Shows you've thought about it beyond just the paycheck, and you actually care about the work.
Hmm.
Okay, imagine they follow up with, what do you think are the most important qualities for a meter reader to have? What would you say?
Ooh, good one.
Mm.
I'd probably talk about attention to detail. Got to have accurate readings, right?
Yeah.
Being adaptable to different places and weather, and probably good problem-solving skills.
You got it. Those are all key qualities. And that's actually where RoleCatcher's AI can really give you an edge. You can put your answers right into their system, and it'll look it over based on the actual job description, even give you suggestions to make it even better.
Oh, it's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket. Speaking of coaches, what are some common things people get wrong about the meter reader role that might come up in an interview?
One big one is that it's a solo job with no room to grow. But the RoleCatcher Career Guide actually talks about a bunch of different career paths, from becoming a meter installation and maintenance technician to even going into customer service or management.
So even if you see this role as just a stepping stone, it's smart to know what's possible down the line. Shows you're thinking ahead and might even impress the interviewer.
Absolutely. Okay, ready for the next question?
Hit me with it. I'm ready for anything.
Now let's say the interviewer throws a curveball your way.
Ooh, I love curveballs. Let's hear it.
Can you describe a time you had to deal with a difficult customer while you were on the job?
Okay, yeah, that would be a tough one. It's one thing to talk about paying attention and stuff, but it's a whole other thing when you're dealing with someone who's like convinced their meter's wrong.
Yeah, and it is a customer-facing role, even if you're not in an office all day. They want to know you can handle those interactions professionally and safely too, which is even more important when you're out there on your own.
Totally. So putting on my I'm a meter reader, but also a people person hat, how do I knock this one out of the park?
Think back to any time you had to stay calm and really listen to someone who was upset and maybe even had to find a solution. Doesn't even have to be work related. Did you ever have to like mediate between friends who were arguing? Or maybe you were volunteering somewhere and had to deal with a tricky situation.
Right. Doesn't have to be about meters. It's about those core skills you use no matter what. So instead of
Mhm.
freaking out, you're showing them you calm things down. Be respectful.
Yeah,
Maybe even turn that frown upside down.
exactly. And this is where practicing on RoleCatcher is a game changer. You can try out different answers to these kinds of questions, and their AI gives you feedback. It'll let you know if you're hitting the right notes with empathy, problem solving, coming across professionally.
That's amazing. It's like having a whole focus group tell you what they think before you even walk in the door.
Yeah.
Genius.
Right. Ready for another?
Lay it on me.
Okay, picture this. They ask, How do you ensure accuracy when you're getting those meter readings?
See, now this one feels like it's right in the meter reader wheelhouse. But I'm guessing there's a way to make your answer really stand out, am I right?
Definitely. It's easy to just say, I'm careful or I double check everything, but everyone's going to say that. You want to actually show them your process.
Ooh, so instead of just saying something
Oh,
general,
yeah.
get specific.
Exactly. Like, do you have a system for keeping track of the readings? Maybe you picture them meter in your head to help you avoid mistakes, or you have a mental checklist you run through. When you share that, it shows you're not just accurate, you're methodical about it.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I approach each meter with the precision of a brain surgeon carefully, deliberately, always double-checking for any mistakes.
Perfect example. It makes your commitment to accuracy memorable. And then imagine you give that answer and they're impressed, so they ask, what would you do if you saw a difference between your reading and what the customer used last time?
Ooh, getting into the details now. That's a good follow-up.
Mm.
I'd probably talk about how I double-check, and if it was a big difference, I'd tell my supervisor or follow whatever the company does to report potential issues.
There you go. Shows you're not just accurate, but you're responsible and know how to handle those unexpected things. And speaking of unexpected,
Let's talk about when Mother Nature decides to get involved. Because let's be real, a meter reader's office is often the great outdoors, rain or shine.
so true. So let's say they ask, how do you stay efficient even when the weather's bad? What comes to mind?
Okay, so how do you stay efficient even when the weather's bad? That's got to be a question every meter reader has to deal with.
It really is. It's their way of making sure you've thought about this, not just picturing sunny days on the job.
So just saying, I own a raincoat, probably won't cut it.
Probably not. This is where you show them you're ahead of the game. Maybe you plan your route around the weather forecast, or you've got all the gear to stay warm and dry.
It's like saying, I'm not just ready for the job, I'm ready for whatever the weather throws at me.
Exactly. Shows you're resourceful and you're serious about getting the job done no matter what. And, you know, this goes back to those RoleCatcher career guides. They often have info about what it's really like to work a job, things you wouldn't find on a normal job ad.
Oh, that's a great point. So while you're checking out a company, you can also get a feel for the work environment and tailor your answers to that.
Exactly. Now, let's say they want to dig a little deeper into your problem-solving skills. They might ask, can you tell me about a time you ran into a problem with a meter and how you fixed it?
Ooh, that feels like a classic show me what you're made of question.
It is. And you might not have years of experience fixing meters, but you can still use this question to your advantage. Think of a time you had to troubleshoot anything, like maybe your computer was acting up or you had to solve some logistical problem, even a DIY project that went sideways.
So it's about that problem-solving mindset, no matter what the situation is.
Right. Walk them through how you did it, how you figured out what was wrong, what you did to fix it, and what you learned from it.
It's like, so the meter wasn't sending a signal, huh? Well, back when I built my own computer, and then launch into this epic tale of tech victory.
Yeah.
Maybe not that elaborate, but you get the idea.
Love it. Okay, one more. This one always gets people, what are your career goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ah, the big one. We talked about this a bit before, but it's worth repeating. Especially since that RoleCatcher Career Guide probably has some good stuff about moving up in the utility world.
It does. But even beyond specific job titles, the key here is showing them you're ambitious, but also realistic. You're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career path.
So you want to connect your goals to what the company offers, right?
Right. Maybe you want to focus on a specific type of meter technology, or you see yourself in a supervisor role eventually.
Or maybe after you've totally crushed it as a meter reader, you decide to become CEO of the whole company. Okay, maybe that's aiming a little high for a first interview, but you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's about showing them you're not just there to punch in and out, you're in it for the long haul.
Exactly. And that's the kind of thinking that really sets you apart. Using resources like RoleCatcher to not just learn about the job, but to practice your answers, get feedback, even see where your career could go. That's how you walk into that interview feeling confident.
So true. It's like having a secret weapon, or should I say a secret app on your phone. To all our listeners out there getting ready for those meter reader interviews, remember, you got this. With a little help from RoleCatcher and a lot of your own awesome prep work, you'll be nailing those questions and landing that dream job in no time.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Good luck with your interviews, everyone.
This has been another awesome deep dive. Thanks for exploring with us. We'll be back next time with a whole new topic. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep those interview skills sharp.